Article 44 of Indian Constitution enjoins that the state, that is the government of the day, will endeavor to bring a common or uniform civil code for all. Article 44 is part of directive principles of state policy, which the state should strive to attain, but courts cannot enforce. In the present dispensation, the movement for uniform civil code has been categorized as Hindu-centric, or mostly concentrating on the polygamy or the children rearing aspect of the civil code. In Mahapatran's poem, we discuss what is a civil code before we attempt to give some opinion on what is a uniform civil code or what is called a common civil code. Civil codes have two words in it, civil and code. Civil meaning as humanity has evolved in different phases, through different phases of civilization, there are religion, customs, practice and beliefs. These have to be brought into something which is connoting our ability as an evolved race, and from that also follows that rituals, customs and practice framework have to be devoid of barbaric practices and rituals which are inherently unequal. Code meaning it has a connotation of a law. It is enforceable because people are likely to accept it. Evolution of a civil code has a very long history. The first recorded civil code was by the Babylonians in 2000 before Christ. Ancient texts like Manusmriti in the Hindu literature, Sharia in the Islamic literature, and the canon law in the Christianity represent attempts at codifying civil frameworks for people to follow. Civil code is understood to be the set of codes which are religious and customs, cultural practices and beliefs which relate to marriage, divorce, inheritance, child rearing, cohabitation and social relationship. If you look at marriage, how many wives one can have or how many husbands one can have as in a polyandrous society, distribution of the rights of the spouse with respect to the other sex has been one of the common aspects of civil codes. The present rules of various civil codes is considered to be highly patriarchal, that means favoring men. Main characteristics of maintenance, alimony and providing sufficient wealth is again rooted in patriarchy, because men were given unequal rights as compared to women in divorce and alimony. Many religions have been reforming. Civil codes are recognizing the rights of women to claim part of the wealth of the family, to which either through working and real earning or through contribution in building a family and building a household has been an important part of the wealth creation that has been made. Next important thing is inheritance. Personal laws, which are the civil codes of different religious groups, favored self-earned property could be given to anybody at the discretion of the person who has earned it. The Islamic law has prescribed that no more of 1/3 of one's self-earned property can be bequeathed, whereas Hindu law and Christian law say that even 100% of the self-earned property, 100% of the share of the inherited property can be donated, bequeathed or gifted. When you are rearing the child, you are following a civil code that having brought a child to this earth, you have the responsibility of rearing him or her to a particular age and provide for his or her education and other upbringing related expenses. And this civil code also prescribes how disinheritance and inheritance could be treated. Divorce is primary ingredient of the entire civil code debate. So it is a complex subject. The inheritance and the divorce is predicated on something called being a part of the family and getting married. At the time of marriage, what are the rituals which have legal sanctity? What are the rituals which evidence the solemnization of a marriage is also part of the civil code. And the gifts that are given, the gifts that are received, or the return gifts, for example, in Parsi community, the return gifts are kind of codified. So these customs, rituals, practice, belief in marriage, child rearing, divorce, inheritance, disinheritance, alimony, all these are part of the civil code, currently part of the personal law. In India, we have separate personal law for each of the communities. There is a uniform Hindu personal law which has been made applicable to Hindu, Sikh, Jains and such other community other than Christians and the Islam followers. This debate of uniform civil code is probably looking at a very complex subject, and this legal subject is increasingly becoming the subject of drawing room discussion about how we can progress as a society, have some uniformity in different personal laws or have a uniform civil code. Thank you very much.